are back for episode 12. Democracy is in action. However, when I came in here, the recording devices were not put back in the position as it was. So we're on the edge. Democracy is on the edge. But the good thing is it's being brought back to a safe place. And it's being brought back by today's guest, the wonderful and the very lovely Mr. Clementine.
Woo! Thank you, Shaggy, my friend. Good to see you.
Very good to see you as well. I just recently saw you, obviously.
Yes.
Which was at the Retreat Hotel this past week.
Yes, on Friday. It was Friday. Yes.
It was Friday the 30th.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate that.
Thank you for putting on a fantastic show.
Oh, thank you.
To catch everyone up, you've just released a new single.
Yes, High Street, it was called. And we did a launch show for it at the Retreat on Friday night with my beautiful band, The Heartstrings. And it rocked. It was really good. It was really, really fun.
Oh, it was a great crowd. You know, you had a great lineup. You had Sammy Luca open the night. And then you had Hologram Sam and Kelsey Jean joined
fantastic.
Sam.
They were great.
And then you had the inaugural guest of the show. One Jasmine
Adria. One Jasmine Adria. Shout out to Jasmine Adria.
I absolutely love Jasmine to bits. I love her parents. They're great.
Oh, her parents are awesome.
They're great.
I love them.
Like every gig that I'm there, I'll see Jasmine and I'll wave to Jasmine. I'll wave to Jake and Carly and anyone else.
Yeah.
And then I will make a beeline.
Literally, that's what I did right after the show. I went straight
and it'll just be like, "What's up? How's it going?" And when the show kicks off, you just see them, watching Jasmine, and they're just like the proudest parents in the world.
It's so lovely to see,
And then after Jasmine, you took the stage and you killed it.
Oh, thank you.
Like absolutely ever the showman.
I love it. Thank you so much. That's the only feedback you ever want to hear after playing a show. It's just that you did a good show. You
did a great show, and like I love the crowd interaction. I love that. Obviously, people who didn't come to the show on the 30th of Jan missed out.
I would say so.
Sucks to be you. Doesn't suck to be me because I was there. But you do sound a little bit different when you're on the stage. Partly because I know you're being the showman that is Clementine.
Yeah.
Right. And it's great because, especially when you do and this one's called a do-si-do. And like you kind of like, you don't kick straight into it.
Yeah.
Like you do a little build up and everyone's getting ready. And
I like a preamble.
A bit of a preamble and then bang, you just kick in.
I've always been super self-conscious about my in-between song banter. Jasmine is really good at her in-between song banter. She has the story behind all the songs. She'll give you the lowdown and then she'll kick in. It'll be fantastic. Then I get up on stage and I'm like, I don't have anything planned. I never have anything planned. I'm just like, yeah, this one's a do-si-doa. And if you got someone next to you, I said, look around the room. And then I hope people are. I'm betting that because I'm on stage, people will sort of listen to my instruction. And luckily they do. And I see people looking around the stage and then I'm like, find a partner and then, I guess dance. And then start playing.
But it is a bit of a skill, and it's one that you execute really well because every artist has a slightly different way of interacting with the crowd.
Yeah.
Some will have, a story to tell, like Jasmine. Sometimes if you're at a metal show, it will almost every interaction's a little bit of a call to action.
Yeah.
Right? And there's almost a sense of grandiosity to the way you interact with the crowd.
Absolutely.
But with your music, and we'll get into the genre of your music in a second, it is a bit more personal and it is a bit more lighthearted. And I guess it's by design, but how do you see your interaction? Where do you see yourself when you're on stage in relation to the people watching?
It's a really good question. It's something I think about a lot because maybe we're getting a little too deep too early. But you know what? This is all very, very relevant. So I started playing music, like gigging back in 2021. I was kind of like a late start to doing music and everything because I'm 25. So I started, my first gig I played when I was 21. And I started writing songs properly when I was like 18. And I've always kind of had a bit of a lot of self-consciousness around my sort of body image. just self-consciousness, just through growing up, classic sort of things. And that would always sort of manifest when I started gigging on stage. I would be very hyper aware of like my physicality on stage. And it would always put me really in my head, I wasn't never able to like particularly like enjoy the show as I was performing, because I would be like performing, but I would also be analyzing what I'm doing while I'm doing it. So that would manifest in a bit of awkwardness. I felt that's how I felt. I was, but this was a few years ago. Nowadays, I'm a lot better with that, and I think coming into Clementine as a sort of big solo project, and me trying to sort of think about, okay, what kind of performance do I want to do? What kind of music do I want to make? And what kind of shows do I want to put on? I really wanted to bring myself out of the place of self-consciousness and be like, what am I like happy doing? And I would consider myself to be relatively extroverted, and people that know me would probably say that as well. It's always that thing where you think I always think I'm introverted, and I tell people I'm an introvert, and they're like, no, you're not. I'm like, okay. I get very silly, and I think that manifests on stage a lot. But my how I see interactions now is I see like venues and gigs as a really, really important. I was talking about this at the show, like a third place. As people were losing our third places, they're kind of going away. And I really, really, really love like good performances, really love good showmanship. And I always just want to have fun. And I really want people to come to a show and just be like, that was fun. Like if they can just leave and say like, that was fun, that was great. That to me is like the goal. Yeah, I would say that's kind of how I feel about, like that's how I think about interactions like that.
I would highly recommend anyone who hasn't been to a Clementine show listening to this, for all 4 people who are listening to this.
2 of them are us.
2 of them are us. So for the 2 people who are not us who are listening
which is
to
Jasmine's
this,
parents.
So for the 0 people who are listening to this, please listen to this if you're not listening to this, and go for a Clementine show. Because it is great. I mean, to your point, I left going, that was fun. But I just want to expand on the third place, because obviously for the people who weren't at the gig, what is your first place? What is your second place? And then subsequently, what is the third place?
So my first place, I think everyone's first place is their home. Second place, my job, because I work full time. And I started working full time about 6 months ago. And one thing I noticed the second I took on full-time hours in my life was the rapid closure of free time in my life, right? And the rapid closure of experiences I was having outside of these 2 places of like work and home. Because, by the time I get home in my work week, I'm knackered. And my drive to go out and to go see a show is not particularly high, which is really sad. But it's also because I live out in the country and I want to move into town so I can be closer and just go to more shows because I love it so much. But my third place is either like in the studio rehearsing with the band, or going to a show, or like going to a movie. And I think shows are so special to me. Live shows are so special to me. Just by like the people you meet, and just the exposure to art, I think is amazing. I'm very passionate about songs and songwriting, and I love my North Star experience that I try and set my watch to, and this is where I aim to as an artist, is like, I remember going to my first like shows of bands I was really passionate about, or honestly bands that I didn't even know about, and then just seeing a performance that just like changed my life. I remember feeling that way with like Gut Health. I saw Gut Health play. I didn't know who they were. I think it was one of their first shows, supporting a band at the corner. And the energy in that room when they started playing was electric. There was like this shared experience, and the whole crowd was like, who are these people? And like, this is amazing. And I always like people can get a bit cynical and a bit downtrodden about like having a music career and like how do you progress. For me, I always have this belief in like just really, really put on a really, really good show. And so that's my North Star. So the third place thing is like, that's the place I want to cultivate. I want to cultivate this idea of like, third place, really important. Yeah, come out and, just hang out and come see a show and come see people do something they're very, very passionate about and not particularly incentivized for purely profit, It's really awesome to see things that just people make,
I'm with you on this because it's easy to, finish work. You've done your 40 hours, whatever, right? However many hours you've done.
Yeah.
And then, I'm just so tired.
Yeah.
I just don't want to do anything. And so it's easy to, just fall into the, I'm not going to bother.
Yeah.
Right? But
absolutely.
What I have found over like the course of life, right, is that, and this is one of like the whole if they want to they will sort of thing. But generally when you're very excited about something, not necessarily if you want you will, but it's more of like when you're really excited about something, when you like something, is very like the barrier and the friction to getting there.
Yeah. Just you make the time and you make it
even if you kind of like, you know what, I'm still a little bit time poor, I'm still gonna go because I like it. And then that enjoyment feeds into other parts of your life. Yeah. And then it becomes a bit of a routine. And then it becomes a bit of a lifestyle. And then you really don't want to see it go away.
No.
And you start, sort of pushing back on things where it's like, whoa, no. I've got this thing on Friday night, which is I'm gonna go see the Clementine gig. Yeah. And so no chance, man. Like, I'd love to come and have dinner with you, but I've got to go and do this first.
Oh, absolutely. For me, finding these things in my life that I'm very passionate about, and music is like number one. There's so many things where I'm like, nothing is getting in the way of me going and seeing this. I'm seeing Cameron Winter on Monday night at the Forum. To me, is the most excited I've been for a show in forever. I'm like, nothing is gonna like stop me from doing this. Even if I break my leg, I'm going to go see this show.
I know how you feel because on Thursday Dream Theater play here. Yeah. And I'm just like, I have just, it's just like Dream Theater. Yeah. I'm just like, I always generally make every day I tend to listen to some of your songs, like yours or Jasmine's or Hassel or Murray's Bay Country Club, someone's song, right? Yeah. That's my thing. Yeah. I'm always listening to some local music.
That's great.
Especially the people who I've photographed and who have come on the show. But in the last month, because of the lead up to Dream Theater, it's just been Dream Theater. There's been some Pliny in there. Yeah. Because prog is prog. Yeah. But it's just been like, it's just like, I'm just like, it's just like I'm in another realm right now.
I was listening to heavy metal, like Cameron Winter, just all day as I was walking around the State Library. It's great library music because it's incredibly contemplative and also the instrumentation is so like spacey and it's just great to walk around and look at paintings. And I'm like, I could just listen to this on repeat because I'm so excited for Monday. Go. Yeah.
Now, 21 is not as late to start gigging.
Yeah. It feels late.
It feels late. It feels late. But it's not really,
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's not. But how did you arrive at gigging? Like, how did you arrive to go, because I always have these things like, if you get an instrument and you play and you never get on stage. Yeah. I'm not saying you're not a musician, but you're not a musician.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
you may have written, you may have done all this stuff. Yeah, by all intents and purposes, you are a musician, but maybe you're not a performer, maybe you're not an artist, whatever. But I always say it's like there's a crucial element to playing an instrument, and people have to make this decision. Yeah, are you just playing because it's a hobby and you enjoy playing, and you're just going to stay at home and play? Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Or does your brain start asking you, okay, I would like to go and sit in front of a bunch of people I don't know. who have no idea who I am, and I have no idea whether they're going to like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so when does that happen for you? When does your brain start going, I think, I think maybe we should do this?
So my my life's journey with music has been, since day one. My dad, he's an opera singer. And so he's always been singing around the house since I've been like 0, since I've been a newborn. I've always had a very, very close relationship to music and to singing specifically. I used to sing with my brother in front of my grandparents for like a gold coin. So like perform. I always used to get a little embarrassed because my mum and dad would be like, do the song. We used to sing this opera song for them. And that was always really fun, but embarrassing. But my dad tried to teach me guitar back when I was like 12, but I was really into gaming, so I didn't like it. At the time, I just wanted to play TF2 on my computer. Shout out TF2. People.
Oh, dude. Fucking great game.
Great, awesome game.
Yeah.
I don't have time to play it anymore.
Except when you play against someone who's a really good spy.
Yeah.
Then it's not a great game.
Yeah, I was really into rocket jumping. Like I was really into playing soldier.
Like I've played with people, and it's a slight break from the music, but I have played TF2, and I've played TF2 with people who are great spies in TF2.
It's annoying.
And drywall would not have survived.
Yeah. It stops being fun.
You're just like, why? Why are you this good?
Yeah.
It's not right.
Yeah.
But it's every kid's like that.
Oh,
right?
Every
kid's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to learn this right now. This is lame.
It was this thing of like when your parent. I think when your parent tries to get you excited about something they're excited about, if you're the wrong age, it'd be like, because you're telling me to do this, that's kind of the reason I don't want to do it. So what ended up happening was, he was trying to teach me, because he used to play he had a little band in the 70s, just a little sort of garage band he used to play. And then it took me to be maybe 6 years later when I was in the middle of high school, or maybe 15. I just started listening to the Beatles. Very,
yes.
very, very predictable material people. But
I'm 15 years old. Where's Sergeant Pepper's? Bring Sergeant Pepper to me.
Well, I used to. My sister had a record collection, and she kind of introduced me to a lot of cool music. Like she would show me the Strokes and show me the White Stripes, but she had this collection of records that I used to sort of sneak early in the morning and go when I was staying at her place. I would just listen to them early in the morning with headphones, and so I listened to Sgt. Pepper's and Abbey Road specifically, and that just opened my brain, I think. And so from then, got really into music, got really into Creedence Clearwater Revival. Mate, don't get me started.
Brett.
Bad Moon Rising, was so obsessed with that song, I picked up the guitar again to like learn how to play it, because it's such an easy song. It's D, G, A. And from then, I think once I came back to the instrument myself, I was like hooked, and I was on the journey. So then from about, I would say 16 to 18, I was just playing for myself, learning songs. Wasn't really writing songs, because writing was a whole different universe to me, and it seemed so unattainable and so scary. And then in VCE, did music performance, and then joined the little band for my music performance class, and we did a few songs. And my first performance I ever did was in my year 11 recital. I was playing Get Back by the Beatles, but I wasn't singing because didn't consider myself a singer. So I did a solo recital of John's part from Get Back, which is very boring to watch because it's rhythm. It's just rhythm. And then the little guitar solo that goes. So, but I was electric. I love that so much. And there's a video of it somewhere my mum has. I was beaming after that. I was like, yeah. And my mum, the first thing she said to me was like, yeah, you really like get into it. You like move around a lot on stage, and you're like, are you like your feet kind of shuffling? I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice when I was playing. I think I just got really into it. I think that carries over today. And then, so what ended up happening was when I graduated high school, I started thinking about writing songs because I'm like, I haven't played for enough time. I should start writing. And so I bought a few mics with I went 3 ways. I split the cost of some mics with my 2 other muso friends. And I started recording little songs that I'd done. And what always happens is when you start writing, you're so full of confidence and you have no skill. So your arrogance is through the roof. Some of the first 3 songs I ever wrote, which were all Mac DeMarco ripoffs, because he was like God to me at the time. I was like, whoa, I've been writing songs for a week and I've got a whole EP ready to release. It's crazy. And these songs are great. Hilarious. Because I listened back to them the other day and they're so funny. They're really funny and really bad. But also very sweet and naive in their own way. I kind of love them I love that about them. So I started a band with my best mate from high school, who's an absolutely cracked jazz drummer who was drumming in the Heartstrings. Lachlan, absolutely amazing drummer. It's also his birthday today.
Happy birthday.
And our mutual friend Isaac was in that band.
Yes.
And
shout out to Isaac.
Shout out to Isaac.
Who will be slowly losing his mind as the footy season starts alongside me, because we will both be at the stadium. Yeah. That was hilarious that we have a mutual friend.
Yeah, crazy. But I had this little garage band called the Cromwells, and that was when I just started writing songs, and I was so arrogant and so confident because it's the Dunning-Kruger effect of the less you have done something or the less you know about something, the more confident you are. And so I was like, I got this band, I got this awesome thrash metal song that was just a King Gizzard ripoff because they just put out Rat's Nest. And I was like, this is what we're doing. We're a thrash metal band. We're a psychedelic rock band because every young man wants to be in a psychedelic rock band if they listen to King Gizzard. And then we just jammed in my garage for 6 months and played one show out on Mount Dandenong, opening for this punk band. We were playing on a balcony in someone's house, and we did a set of covers because we had not had enough original material. So we just did every most covered song of all time. We all developed the set list, and then we did Satisfaction. We did Sultans of Swing. We did just all of those songs. And that was the first and only gig we played. And then we broke up because we were all fighting about the band. Because when you have a band, you're like, this band is going to be the biggest band ever. So it's really important that I get my way, and that's what everyone's thinking. But me particularly, because I was like, well, we're rehearsing at my garage, so blah 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 blah. But then the band disbanded, but it was beautiful. It was a beautiful breakup because we're all best mates, and we still love each other very much.
It is a thing I tell people. I was like, if you want to learn conflict resolution, join a band.
Start a band.
Join a band.
Yeah.
And people are like, what do you mean? I'll say, have you ever sat in a room with 5 people who all say, no, you should play these 2 notes this?
It's great. If anyone's watched Get Back, like the Beatles, even no matter how big and how influential you get, every band is essentially just friends that are trying to get their way. But the good bands just know how to deal with those relationships and how to talk in each other's languages. So everyone gets to the same outcome. But yeah, so had I wouldn't consider that a proper that band and that performance out in Mount Dandenong as a proper debut into live performance. But that didn't happen until I want to say it was 2022. I could get my date wrong, but I'd moved out of home and was just writing songs a lot. And I was really trying to get a lot better at writing. And then when I finally had a sort of 8 songs that I was really, really proud of, I was like, all right, well, I've kind of, been waiting for the time to start gigging and start playing my songs. So I think my friend's band asked if I wanted to open for them at Cafe Gummo in Thornbury. And I was like, sure, yeah. I didn't have a band, and the show I think was a month down the line. So I was like, well, this is a good excuse to actually get my stuff together because I can tend to procrastinate, and if I don't have something concrete to work towards, then I'll just push that out. But got it together, and then did this show at Cafe Gummo, and it was the most nervous I've been, the most like sweaty I've been. Just the nerves of playing music that you've written, and so that was like the first performance. I would say the first proper live performance that I've ever done of original music. And yeah, it just happened to come at that time when I was 21, and I feel like I just had to, like, I don't know. I guess I was just waiting for the right time for me to be confident enough in my own writing, because it's all about confidence in my own writing. That's my biggest roadblock, and so that took a while for me to get to a point where I was like, now I think I'm ready to perform these songs.
And for someone who hasn't heard Clementine, what's the sound like?
Such a good question, and it's a question I'm trying to answer myself as I'm reaching out to other bands to connect and like open. I would say it's folk rock because that makes the most sense to me. I'm very inspired by a bunch of different bands. I really like The Band, The Band, like Bob Dylan's band, The Band. I chalk it up to this idea of like, I like to write really sensitive acoustic confessional songwriter songs. Sort of Leonard Cohen-y type stuff. But I also like to get silly and do a rock and roll number. So it exists between those two worlds of like delicate, soft, and also just very fun and very, very rocking, to use that term. I like to say the word rocking.
A good drop of rocking at a gig is very tactical.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very tactical. But I would say folk rock is definitely the if you could say correct, but most appropriate tag for it.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's got its own flavor to it. It's not necessarily finger-picked chords or open strings, and which is often associated with folk rock in that manner. Acoustic guitar, finger-picking, open strings, very bright chords. Yeah. There is almost a very I'm just trying to think of the right word, but almost a very sort of solid rhythmic underpinning to all of it.
Yeah.
And is that, probably because you have, a more heavier influences outside of the Beatles? Where does that come from?
Yeah. I have a very eclectic, wide-reaching taste in music. And I think that's what's made it really hard to pin down how do I describe what I do. But I think what you're referring to, I think comes from this kind of rhythmic foundation, comes from I really, really I get obsessive about like songwriting and like the elements to write a really, really good song, I feel, are just hooks, right? So hooks in melody, hooks in lyrics, and hooks in rhythm. Those like your big three, right? Melody, lyrics, and rhythm. And even when I'll start writing a song on acoustic and the rhythm will be very straightforward, but then in recording, I'll think about, well, how do I make this, there's something that's missing from this section. And it's not, the melody's there and the lyrics are there. So I think it just needs just a rhythmic something to happen. I think I have ADHD and I like when things happen and kind of continue to kick the excitement of a track up every little bit, I'm a little restless like that. And in my songwritings, I can hear that I'm a little restless. So I don't like to repeat things. I like to, if I repeat something, it'll be changed a little bit the next time, just so it's a bit different. But the actual solid rhythmic core of that show and that band is just down to like Lockie as the drummer is, to me, the best drummer in this country.
Here we go.
I like to hype him up because
we're throwing it down.
And I say this, and I hope he hears this. He's been drumming for like 5 million years, but also like he got his start as a jazz drummer and drumming in orchestras and stage bands. At our high school had a very prestigious music program. So we like went and played in Japan with our stage band and everything. I know, as a high school band, weird, but awesome. he's just absolutely cracked behind the kit. And we've been playing together for so long that he knows how to accentuate my writing really, really well and play against it and lift it up. And so I just kind of just tend to just let him go nuts behind the kit. But he's a very tasteful player, but also has the chops to go.
Oh, your whole band is just really, really
everyone in the Heartstrings is
yeah,
insane.
just really good. They all like you could just tell everybody knows where
Yeah.
they need to be and how they have to be there and when to accentuate. And
It's
your guitarist who isn't Sammy.
Max.
Max.
Shout out Max Cheney.
I have to say, it's very. Everything comes down to the blues, and everything comes down to the 5 notes of the pentatonic scale.
It's
right?
beautiful.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like just play the pentatonic scale over a chord that doesn't quite work. You got prog. Just play the pentatonic scale just slightly out
Pentatonic
of
scale is the pasta of music in the sense where it's the most solid dish, and the ingredients are all the same, but can be reconstituted a million different flavors.
Pope, you know?
Yeah.
It's the pontifex scale for me, right? Right? But it is always a joy to watch someone who knows how to use very strong blues elements.
Yeah.
Slides into it and slides right out of it. And he does that so well.
He's so very tasteful.
He's got a natural sort of like just understanding of how harmony and melody just sort of fits within a track. And it's when you're there and you're watching it, you're just like,
it's great.
Man,
incredible.
Fuck you.
I'm very lucky to be surrounded by the most tasteful players ever. And I decided not too long ago, because I used to be in a band with Sammy, my old band. And in that band, I considered myself to be rhythm and lead, which is hilarious because I'm not a lead player. I'm a rhythm player, but mainly I'm a singer, and I'm a writer. And it took me a long time coming into starting this band to be like, because I was talking to Sammy about starting the band and like who are the roles, like what kind of instrumentation do we want? And I have to give props to Sammy because he encouraged me to be like, I think just reconsider like that I am a singer and a rhythm player, and that the pressure to be like the lead guitar player, just to relinquish that, because and that's been such a game changer for me. And so coming into this band, I was like, I'm just going to hold down the rhythm and I'm going to sing, and I'm going to give the talented, amazing musicians that I happen to be surrounded with, that responsibility of like, this is lead, rhythm 1, rhythm 2. And that's so good because it's like so great to my grandfather used to have this saying. My dad just tells me all the time. He says, surround yourself with people that are better than you,
I do feel like I'm the least skilled and talented player in my band. And I quite like it because you kind of like, when you go for band practice, you're like, I've got to practice. I got it.
Yeah.
It's good motivation. I like it. But it's also then I get to be better and learn from others.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's great because I have 2 electric guitar players in the Heartstrings. I do not need to touch an electric guitar ever. So then I think we got 5 people in the band. That's a decently sized band. 5 is starting to get up there in numbers. So for me, where can I add the extra texture so that we don't expand to 6 people? And so even though I was only playing rhythm, I'm like, well, I'm going to play keys as well because keys is such a great texture. And that'll push me to get better at playing keys. And I'm seeing where I can lift up the arrangement of the band as the front man, just by being like, I'll play keys, I'll play acoustic, and I'll play, harmonica. I was supposed to play harmonica during that set, but I left my holder at home, like the harmonica holder. So that would have made it more of a folk rock set, but I didn't have the harmonicas.
What you need is, and it's just a suggestion, is a fiddle player, a dedicated fiddle player, a dedicated, the word will come, mandolin player.
Yep.
Right?
Classic. Yep.
Banjo.
Yep.
right?
Pedal steel.
And yes,
Yep.
pedal steel. And then there will be 9 of you.
There'll be 9.
And
yeah.
then you can be the Slipknot of folk rock.
That's the dream. I mean,
You know.
I love seeing a band at like the Forum, like a big venue, and the band is huge, and there's just everyone is just making the texture of the music so great, and the Forum is like that's my dream venue. So when I get there, we'll have 10 people in the heartstrings. The heartstrings will expand.
Palais is my dream.
Yeah.
Palais is like
Everyone in Melbourne, not even just Melbourne, everyone in every city. If you grow up and you're in the music scene, everyone has their
dream
dream venues, and for me, that's like Northcote Social Club.
Oh yes.
Forum. The Palais would be incredible because I saw Snarky Puppy at the Palais not too long ago, and that was awesome. Saw Pavement there, that was awesome.
When I first moved to Melbourne, one of my first instances of the Palais was Jason Mraz.
Oh yeah, nice.
And Erykah Badu.
Oh,
and I was just like, bruh.
Incredible.
I was like, what?
That's amazing.
But Jason Mraz, I have to say, like, obviously I went for Jason Mraz because it was like, oh yeah, he was big at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was big because of those like 3 or 4 songs.
Yeah, yeah.
But he played a phenomenal set.
Yeah.
And his horn section was ridiculously good.
Yeah.
The trombone and I believe the sax. Well, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It would be.
Like they really and then that venue is just so nice.
It's beautiful. It's iconic.
But Northcote Social as well.
Yeah.
It's when you're there, there's this it's funny because the ceiling's not super high.
Yeah.
And the stage is not super large.
Yeah.
But when the lights hit and when the lights just go down.
Yeah.
And the stage just gets that somewhat illumination and
It's
the big sound desk is next to you.
It's great.
And everyone's in the room. God. Suddenly it just like it feels much bigger than 300 people.
Every gig I've ever seen there has been like one of my favorite shows. I've a band where I would consider them my friends in that I lived with 2 of the members for about 6 months. Jazz Party. They play the Northcote Social Club all the time. And the last time I went, it was sold out and packed. And it was like one of the best shows I've ever been to. I've seen so many amazing artists and bands there. I saw Courtney Barnett there. I saw Way Dynamic there at a random Social Sanctuary gig on a Monday, maybe 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. His first album had only come out, and now Way Dynamic is like exploding and is like huge. And I remember because I went with Sammy, we saw Way Dynamic open, and we were just like, "What is this? This is amazing. This is the best thing we've ever heard." And it was just that thing. It was like, well, I was saying with Gut Health. It's like sometimes you just see a performance or a set, and you're like, "Oh, this is like really special. There's something really special about this," and you can just feel it. And it normally follows that they end up blowing up. Northcote Social Club, the Palais, the Forum. The Forum's a huge one for me, and Sydney Myer. That's a huge one. Yeah. Those 4, I don't care about playing stadiums.
No, why?
Whatever.
Why?
That's cool. Stadiums are fine and everything. Like in the progression of the size of those venues from like
Northcote Social
up to Sydney Myer, that's the big 4 for me. And then if I could do that in my career and nothing else.
You will because people will come to your shows.
Yeah.
People will listen to this podcast and they will come to your shows.
We can only hope.
We will not need to hope.
There is no hope.
There's no hope because we know it will happen.
Yeah.
The music is great, and so therefore it will happen.
Yeah.
I'm confident it will happen.
Yeah.
I saw Khan, Myriad Drone, and Skin Thief at Northcote Social last year. A friend of mine, Haley, drums in Myriad Drone, and she's a great drummer.
Yeah, nice.
And you get there and then the lights hit and you're just like, and then the music's and you're just like, what? And it's like someone's just jabbing you with like,
that's great.
Jabbing you with vibes.
The Corner's like that as well. The Corner's another one.
Yes.
I love the Corner.
Yes. I like the I don't know how you pronounce it, lead beater.
The lead beater. Yeah.
Lead beater.
Yeah.
Lead beater is also another one.
I played at the lead beater, Sammy's band, Sundown Band, because I'm in that one as well, playing keys. We did a tour to promote his last album. Incredible album.
Did you end up playing in Beechworth with him?
Yeah, played in Beechworth.
My friend came to that show.
You're kidding.
My friend Reese.
At the Tanswells?
Yes. So I saw that.
What?
So I saw on Jasmine's Instagram that she was going up to Beechworth with with Sammy Lucas Sundown Band. And so my friend lives in Beechworth.
That's
and so
amazing.
I messaged him and I said, you need
yes.
to go and
No, I remember this.
you need to go
yeah.
and watch this band.
Mm.
I was referring to Jasmine because I hadn't seen Sammy Lucas' band, obviously. But I was like, don't even stress, because like if she's playing with them, then they'll be good.
Yeah.
So he came down. He loved you. He loved your show.
The Sundown Band is one of the best bands I've ever had the experience of being in or just being around. Like Sammy is such a incredible writer, and I'm very blessed to know him because he's like
He's such a fun guy.
He's a I love him. Sammy, I love you. If you're listening, I love you, Sammy.
Well, if he's not listening and you said that'd be sad.
I'm not going to tell him. He just has to reach out to me.
listen,
He's going to say, "Oh, I heard." Well, I'm not going to say it. But the Sundown Band is like a super group of all these people that Sammy has met over his time being in Melbourne, being in my old band, and meeting Max, who's in the Clementine band. We're both in the Sundown Band. And then his two mates from Sydney, shout out Ewan and Max, other Max. It's like a super group, and we all love Sammy. We love his music, and we all bring 110% in for this band, and it's incredible. And we played the Leadbeater. Leadbeater's a great venue. Love that venue. And then that was also my kind of debut Clementine show, opening with a band for that show. And Jasmine played that show as well.
There you go. I think I saw it posted on Instagram, because I mean that's how I found your band. That I knew she was playing at the retreat because I've obviously photographed her and her band before. So then I was like, all right, I'll come for this. And I was like, oh, new bands, and I always like watching new bands, and I'm so grateful that I'm so glad I came.
It's awesome.
I'm so glad I came because I had a great time.
Yeah.
So you're 4 years into this now.
Yes.
You've got a bit of confidence.
Yep.
Behind you with the songwriting. Songwriting is obviously important to you.
Yes, very much.
And it changes for every artist, right? Some artists are all about the riff. I wouldn't call myself an artist, but I'm one of those people.
You're an artist. Of course you are.
If
you make, you make and you perform. We've established the foundation, like the terms on which you can be called an artist, which is to make and perform, right?
Yeah.
So.
My friend Mark, who is listening to this right now, is violently disagreeing. I can almost feel the disagreement.
He doesn't think you're an artist.
I can see the disagreement vibrating through the air and arriving on my phone this Sunday morning as he's listening to it. But everyone's got a little difference, right? It's like, for me, it's about the riff.
The approach,
the riff and the hook. The hook, as you were mentioning.
Yeah.
Like, when I sit down and I try to like beat myself into submission of finding those 3 or 4 notes that I'm like, oh, that's it. That's the thing. That's the thing we're gonna do. But why is but for you with songwriting, is it the story? Is it the lyrics? Is it the melody? Where is it that you're always everyone kind of just gravitates down a road? Which road is it that you're gravitating down?
It's a coalescing of 2 different roads that have been traveling parallel, and now they're meeting together. So when I started writing songs, I cared mainly about the music. In 2020, when I cracked a copy of Ableton and put it on my laptop, I was making beats and making little instrumentals, and I could never put words to them because I was self-conscious. Because lyrics are where the vulnerability is. Lyrics are the poetry. That's where your voice as an artist comes through. That's where your experience is shared. So to me, that was the scariest bit. So I was like, I really turned away from writing lyrics, and I was like, instrumentals are like number one. Lyrics are secondary. Lyric can be whatever. Like, lyrics don't really matter. So I never really thought seriously about lyrics. And I think just as you get through life, I think as an artist, I think a lot of people gravitate towards just writing a lot, or writing about their feelings. I certainly, in the last few years, have done a lot more just writing for my own personal mental health, journaling and all that stuff, and writing a bit more poetry and writing more lyrics. And then I would say a couple of years ago, I started to really care a lot more about, lyrics and what I'm saying. And it's been a journey of understanding what it is, like what this is all about, like what music is all about, what writing is all about, and what creating art is all about. And I only had this realization, I would say, 6 months ago. Um, and it was just because I was thinking about it a lot. I like to think about and intellectualize creativity a lot because I find it very fascinating. Just songwriting in general to me is just the most incredible thing, and I love thinking about it. But thinking about myself as a writer, I just had this realization one day that kind of quelled a lot of my anxieties and self-consciousness around lyrics and around writing in general. And it was just that what we're doing as writers and artists in general is just self-expression, right? All of this is self-expression. And so because it's self-expression and because the creation of art is just an expression of your own self, the self-consciousness around lyrics and around writing starts to drift out the window when you just center back onto this thing of like, this is my self-expression. This is my fingerprint. And I spent so long in my creative life trying to run away from my fingerprint and trying to dull down all of the rough edges to my work that I thought were rough edges, but they were just like my signature or like my whatever was happening in my voice, and what made my song sound like me. And whenever I was doing that and I was kind of trying to shave off the edges and make it more palatable, or whatever I felt was palatable, I always was really unhappy with the result. It was like, yeah, it sounds like Bob Dylan, or it sounds like whatever, but for some reason I'm not proud of this. And then when I came to this idea that it's just self-expression, and actually your fingerprint and your voice is the thing that is the most important thing worth protecting and worth nurturing, which is your relationship to your whatever it is you want to say and whatever it is you want to express. Then it was like, okay, I get it now. So the coalescing of these two roads of like caring more about lyrics and trying to write more about my life and try to figure out, just analyze what's going on in a kind of poetic lens, and the music, which I'm very passionate about, kind of having this realization of like, yeah, there's no reason to be anxious or ashamed or feel embarrassed about whatever I make, because it's just self-expression. And then they coalesced in a really nice way. And this year I started doing Adrienne Lenker from Big Thief. She did this songwriting workshop a couple of years ago, and you can buy the archived course and do it in your own time. And that actually, it came as a suggestion I saw an interview with Leah Senior on Triple R, I believe, or PBS. And she said, you should do this. If you're a songwriter, you should do this course. And Leah Senior was like such a big influence to me. When I first started writing songs, I reached out to Leah Senior and I was like, hey, I wrote this song. What do you think? Like, you're very influential and I really love your writing. And she actually gave me some really great advice and sort of mentorship right when I was starting out. So I'm very thankful for that. Thank you to Leah Senior for that. So then when I heard her say any writers listening to this should go do this course, I was like, that's all the permission I need to go and do this. And so I'm doing it at the moment. And what Adrienne Lenker talks a lot about, which I really resonate with, is this idea of just the intuition of writing, and the intuitive compass of writing is just about, at the end of the day, when you create anything, if you're a painter or an artist or a musician or a writer, it is just this idea of when I'm writing and when I'm creating something, what feels good? If I'm sitting down at a piano and I'm messing with chords or I'm messing with a riff, how do you know when something is something worth writing? It's because you like to play it and it sounds good and it makes you feel good. So that's the first step, is identifying that. And then in a very microscopic way, just incrementally going through that process with the whole rest of the song. Okay, well then what should happen next? Okay, it would sound good if that went na-na-na, and then na-na-na-na-na. And that feels good. Oh, cool. And then if you follow that intuition all the way to the end, you have a song that's been written with pure joy and just like following the intuition of like, this feels really good to me. And then normally for me, every time I've done that, the songs are always really, really good. And just, I don't hate them, which is really important, to not hate the work you do, because I tend to not like my own work when I can tell it's created from a place of insecurity and created to try and sound like something I'm not. And I can tell that I'm trying to mask the parts of myself that I'm self-conscious about. But nowadays when I write, I just come back to this mantra of like self-expression. It's self-expression. So then I can just let the songs be whatever it is, and however much of myself is in them, and my vocal inflections or how I sing or the type of lyrics I write. And so how that comes into lyrics, and I'm waffling, but I will finish.
No. You're not waffling.
I'm a real waffler.
It's
Yeah.
important.
I think with the lyrics, like I said at the start of this little piece, lyrics are where the vulnerability really comes in, because you're either embarrassed about what you're writing because you think people are going to find it embarrassing, or you're writing about something personal. And I know songwriters who find it really hard to write songs because they have to go into this place to uncover emotions and compartmentalize them and then turn them into art. And that can be really difficult and really mentally stressful. And for me, now I'm embracing the fingerprint of everything I do, and the part of myself that is really identifiable in the music. And I was giving someone, one of my friends was asking me about lyric writing and showing lyrics to people for like, do you think these lyrics are good? And I think that's good. I think sometimes I used to do this a lot and I stopped doing it. I only really show songs to people just for like opinions on like, is this song enjoyable to listen to? Like in terms of like lyrical content, I tend not to seek feedback on that super strongly anymore, because I feel like lyrics are you. That's the part of you that's in the song. It's what you want to say. So I think it's really important to protect that. And it's hard to take feedback on like, this is my expression, this is what I want to say. So when I came to this idea of like, okay, it is just self-expression, and try to break down the seriousness of it, back into this is just an art form and this is what I want to say. Then it meant when I was writing lyrics, I was just thinking about how am I feeling about what I want to write about, and then writing the words, and like with the intuitive thing that I was talking about with Adrian Lenker, looking at the words and being like, does this line feel good? Is this a good representation of what I'm feeling? And do I like how it sits in the song? That's like my main concern now. And so there's a nice little cross section of like songwriting and like poetry coming together, because it means I'm not attached to the ego of like, are people going to think this line is cringe if I say this? If I say I love you, is that cringe? Do people say I love you in songs anymore? Doesn't matter, because it's all back to just, this is what I'm feeling and this is what I want to make. And then all I can do is embrace the fingerprint of it and be passionate about it, I guess. Hmm. Hmm. We won't name him. Yeah.
But he talks about
Hmm.
found his voice, and he's beginning to,
Hmm. Yeah.
if you want to
Hmm. Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
well and truly
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
He talks about
Hmm.
you found your voice.
I think I've found the suburb in which my voice lives. I don't know the street or the house, or what room in the house that voice lives, but I think I can sense that it's kind of, it's somewhere near, and that's exciting to me, because I think once you find your voice, you have like unlimited fuel, right? Because once you're really comfortable with what I do is just what I do, then you can go forever, because it stops being a question about like, when you're writing, you're thinking about the end product and the end listener. Like you were saying, did we say it when we were recording or not? But we were just saying like going to gigs, and sometimes you just hear music and it's people say, "Have you ever gone to a gig that you didn't like?" Oh, just before, yeah. But just chatting. But sometimes, you might have people say, "Do you?"
I have been talking on mute the whole time
no.
for like the past few minutes.
Oh no. We can circle back.
We can circle back. I have no idea how long I've been on mute since I had a water.
I think it was like I was wondering if you'd muted your mic for like a noise floor thing, but I think it's only been about 5 minutes.
Oh well,
10 minutes.
Anyway, what I was saying
Yeah.
just before about to add. My God,
We can go back. We
don't need to go back. All I'll say is that I had a friend whose name
Yes.
shan't be mentioned.
Yes.
And even if we knew that name, and we won't talk about that name and
Yes.
all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And the concept of finding your voice, and then I said, and then you answered the voice stuff, and so
Yes.
that's the context of
That's
you
the
answering the voice.
Yes.
And but on the point
On
of
that,
you
yes.
just said about once you find your voice, you can go forever.
Yeah.
This person who has the concept of the voice, whose name shan't be mentioned, and who we don't know who they are, they are very much well and truly on their.
Yeah.
They're on that sort of infinite power.
Oh, it's
like
yeah.
watching it is great. As their friend, watching it is great.
Yeah.
Right. To see that there's this sort of infinite drive to be able to just keep going.
It becomes this crazy infinite fuel source of like now that I have the tools and the ability and the confidence, it's now just about what I want to say, and that's why you get people who are really prolific. And I think the King Gizzards of the world, or even bands from the golden era of music releasing, which was like back in the 60s when the standard deal was 2 albums a year and 4 singles, seems incredibly difficult now because no one's releasing that much music unless you're a special case like King Gizzard. But really, that type of prolific output just comes from confidence and trusting the voice you have. And you could make a song and release a song every day if you wanted, but like the confidence barrier is like the number one hurdle in making and releasing things, And so once you get to this idea of actually, I like what I've made, I feel confident in what I've made. That's really, actually the only thing that matters.
Really, that's kind of all you need.
All that you, I think, I say you as in the royal you, as in also me as well. I think all that we should really expect as songwriters from a piece of work is anything that can be gained by the making of it. You can't expect success. You can't expect 1 million streams. You can't expect to sell out the Forum or the Sydney Maya with a song. And so
but you can with a voice.
Yeah. I mean, you can. It seems a lot more realistic because you have I have something that a lot of people are searching for, which is now I have the fuel source to keep me going when the songs aren't getting streamed, or when it's just you put all this time into a release and it falls flat. It's just the reality of the beast, right? But if you're happy, if you're like, my number one concern is writing and releasing things, because in doing those two things, that's where I get everything that these things can give me. Writing a song. Jeff Tweedy has this awesome Jeff Tweedy from Wilco. If anyone knows Wilco, big band. It's not me. Like, have you heard of Wilco? No, it's like huge band, huge important band. He has this book called How to Write One Song, but he has this great little quote in it that says, "Every musician, every songwriter wants to be Bob Dylan," and on the basis of that, there's nothing stopping you from doing what Bob Dylan does. In a very fundamental sense, Bob Dylan. He sits down, he plays guitar, he writes songs, and he performs those songs. Now, what you can't be is you can't be Bob Dylan, because Bob Dylan is Bob Dylan, right? No one can be Bob Dylan. You can't be Bob Dylan. But, not to sound like something that your mum would tell you, but Bob Dylan can't be you. Bob Dylan is not going to be you. He's not going to be me. And so one of the best things you can do as a songwriter and as an artist is to be like, I am me, yeah, and that rocks, and that's really cool. And that's where that fuel source comes in, because it's like, well, great, because now that I know that I'm me, I can go forever. Because it's now like, well, what do I want to do?
You get it in the works of artists, right? Where it's like you listen to maybe their first album or their second album or an EP somewhere in between those.
Yeah.
And you go, this is good.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah.
And then suddenly there's that one album and you're like,
they got it.
they found it.
They were in the suburb. They were in the country of
they
the
were
boys.
just driving up and down, you know, looking suspicious to the locals. And then they found it.
They found
it. The good thing about just about coming back to my rookie era, this is what happens when you take a short break between having guests on, is that you leave yourself on mute. But the good thing is that you were yapping the whole way. And
I'm a good yapper. It's okay. I covered you.
Thank you for yapping. Thank you. Completely planned. But you see it sometimes, like with you could argue that with. I'll just use Dream Theater again, right? I'll just use Dream Theater again as an example. I hope my preamble about Dream Theater was caught on it. I will find out.
I think it was. I think we touched on Dream Theater earlier.
We did.
We were talking about the venues.
Yes.
Yeah.
And palette.
And listening to. I was listening to Cameron Winter, and you were listening to Dream Theater because
we did touch on that.
Yeah, we did touch on that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm so engrossed. I was like completely engrossed in what you were saying, and I was just like, I've paused myself. I've had a drink of water. Can't be. Oh, that's right. I'm actually muted. Oh well. This is it's the banter of it all, and it makes me look like an idiot. And I don't mind that.
That's it.
But just to use the subject of Dream Theater again and the whole finding your voice, I wouldn't say that they hadn't found their voice in their first 4 albums or their EP. No, absolutely wouldn't say that. I think there's a lot of, like, if you listen to Images and Words, which is their second album, it's like, wow, okay, that's such a quintessential Dream Theater album. But I always go to people, I said, Scenes from a Memory, Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from Memory, their 5th studio album, that is like the album for me. That is like the quintessential, everything that this band is about to become, everything that we're about to know them for. It couldn't have happened without Images and Words, but it damn well was cemented with this album. And it doesn't make Images and Words less. It doesn't make Scenes from Memory more or less. It's just, this is that moment where maybe that's the moment where they fucking went, you know what?
Yeah.
What else do we have?
Yeah.
I mean, it is kind of a moment because in the documentary for Score, they talk about, like, this was it. This was it. And maybe this being it is similar to you going, you know what? It is me. It is me.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's it. I'm embracing it because you're right. Like, I can't be John Petrucci. And it's not that I would think John Petrucci can't be me. God, why would he even want to be me? Right? But sometimes when you are sitting down and writing, you have to almost remind yourself, it's like, just, what am I doing here? Why am I trying to be like these people?
Yeah.
Like, why am I wasting my time
Come back to this idea of, like, this is supposed to be fun.
Yeah, this exactly. In the end, this is all meant to be fun.
Yeah.
If you hate it, and there's a huge suffering portion for this.
Oh yeah,
that you will have to go through.
The suffering is for the reward, but the pursuit of it is for fun in its own way and fulfillment.
Yeah. So if you're suffering in the pursuit part, you're putting the suffering in the wrong part of the process.
Yeah.
The suffering has to be loading your gear into your stuff and going to the stuff. Going to the venue, but the actual performance is not the suffering part. That is the absolute high point.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the loading your shit up, driving to band practice, coming back, packing shit up. All you invite a bunch of people and only half of them rock up. All of that is the
That's
suffering.
the sweat equity,
right? The sweckity.
The sweckity. Yeah.
Terrible. Wow, we're well and truly back with bad jokes.
That's okay.
But the pursuit of it, as you say, that's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
There's a suffering in that. Some part of practice has to be a bit of suffering, a bit of like, fuck, I gotta do this.
It can be monotonous. It can be,
but it has to still be like in this larger grand scheme.
Well, there has to be a reason. If what you're doing, if you're in pursuit of the joy and the euphoria of it, then it makes the suffering. There's no question about this the monotony and the suffering of, like, the boring things, like just trying to comp a track or mix or all this, like all of those things. They can be hard, or they can almost resemble suffering, but they're kind of not. It's like people who are really into the gym. Like, the act of exercising is exhausting and it is suffering. But you ask anyone who's really, really into bodybuilding, and they love it. They love the pain and the suffering and the exhausting themselves. So it's like, because it's all anchored it's anchored by the intense passion for what they do. So if that's
And that pursuit.
yeah. And so that's the whole thing. It's like, this is all meant to be fun. It's like, it's all meant to be a passion. It's all meant to be self-expression, right? So that's when we get back to that, the voice thing. And you're so right with Dream Theater. And like, I think Wise Blood as well is another just amazing inspiration. But like her record, Titanic Rising, is I want to say her third record or her fourth record. And I can't remember. But that's the record that was just like, oh yeah, bang, we're on. And I think it's really important to trust yourself to see these things through, because a lot of people, and including myself, classic case, bands start up, they work on a set of 6 songs, and then they burn out because there's this idea of being precious around your work, because you want to be precious around your work because it is self-expression, it's your baby. But sometimes you can suffocate yourself through the being precious. And so my old band, I was so like, I believed in these set of songs that we had. And there's also this whole music industry machine of like, you've got to play the set, get people familiar with your songs. And if you're not onto what's the plan for these songs and what's the plan for the things following that, then you can just play a set of songs, of a set of 10 songs for 2 years. And then you put it out. And even if it resonates and it hits, it's like what it ends up happening a lot of the time is a lot of bands end up just breaking up because they're just exhausted by that, because it was just a long time for like just this small thing. So what I think is really important is going back to that example of like, sometimes it's the third or the fourth album, is really trusting yourself and allowing yourself to stick it out. Like the record that High Street came off of, I did last year with Sammy. Max is also on the album. It's a record that I love. It's a collection of a bunch of old songs that have been kicking around. There's a naivety in that record. And for a fraction of a period while I was listening to the mixes, I started to get really anxious about it because I'm like, I don't know if I like this. And it wasn't any type of objective statement about it. Was a pure expression of doubt and this idea that the bands I listen to, the artists I love, I don't get the same feeling when I listen to my music that I do when I listen to them, to their music. Then, it took me a long while of just sitting with the music and listening to it a lot and writing a lot about the creativity of it and trying to figure out why I feel this way. One is pressure to be like fully formed and like perfect as an artist when you start out, because everyone wants to be like, well, he just put out this song and he went, whoa, and everyone loved it straight away and everyone gave him $1 million. There's that pressure of wanting to be fully formed and confident in what you do. And I think the next problem I find, this might just be a me thing, but I think a lot of people deal with this, people who write, is when you make something, there's actually a fundamental way of looking at your work that you'll never be able to experience, which is the experience of an audience member who has nothing to do with the creation of that song. They are just viewing it as a final work. And because you've created the work, you will never, ever, ever be able to access that way of listening to your work. So it's actually kind of...
You can't be a passenger in your own car.
No, right?
Well, if someone else is driving.
Well, you can't experience your driving as a passenger, right? I would say
more appropriate.
But like, it's this thing of you will never be able to experience your work like you experience the work you love, because you're not attached to that work as a creator. You're just a listener.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like when I come and listen to High Street, when I listen to you, I have nothing. There's nothing. I'm just there.
Yeah.
I'm taking photos, but at the same time, as a fan, I'm listening.
Yeah.
And you have obviously converted me into a fan overnight, but there's like, I didn't choose the chord, the structure, the rhythm, the beat, none of that.
Yeah.
I am just along for the journey that you have decided. This is how you're traveling. You have to get on that ride, and this is just how it goes.
Yeah.
This is just how it goes.
And that's it, right? And I think what's really interesting about that, and I tell this to people all the time, I've had people like who come up and ask about songwriting, and the really freeing thing is when you realize it's just about your self-expression, then the next thing to realize is, well, you get to legitimize whatever you do by performing it. So, you know, if a song is the way it is, no one in the crowd can say, this is not how this song's supposed to go, because it's an original work. And so for me, yeah, it's that thing of like, this is how it's being presented, and this is how it's being received by people, because this is how I've chosen to present it. And so people either like it or they don't. And those are the two options. You either like something or you don't.
On that whole, like the whole, someone can't say this is how a song is supposed to be, just immediately clicked in my mind again about the Sails of Charon by the Scorpions.
Yeah.
Great song.
Yeah.
And it opens with this very sort of like, it sort of ambient, and it rises up. And then it goes into like a hook with just a couple of guitar notes.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, not like 10 notes, like maybe 3 or 4, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it cuts into a solo.
Yeah.
It's the kind of solo that you would play probably somewhere in the middle of the song, not as its own guitar solo, but as like a solo within the song that takes you to the next part of the song.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's that, but at the start. And then the song has no guitar solo. It's just riff and chorus and riff and chorus. And it's like, can you imagine if you went to people and sort of focus group them? And when I think I want to put the guitar solo at the start, and then I want to do the verse and the chorus, and people go, what are you talking about? You have to have an intro, and you have to have the verse, and then you have to have the chorus, and then you have to have the verse, and then you have the chorus, and then you have a bridge, and then you have a solo, and then you have the chorus, and then you have a chorus, and then you have an outro. And, you know, people say, well, that's how it has to be, and there's no way you're going to change that by, because somehow someone just went back to the 1950s in that
and of course. I mean, that's focus group speak.
Exactly.
It's like Mad Men.
Everyone in focus group speaks like that, right? You heard it here first, but as a songwriter, you can just almost kind of go, nah, I'm gonna do the chorus first.
It's just how it is. It's just because work is just perceived in the way that's presented, and in like there's a bunch of paintings upstairs that are just what they are, and the artist who's painted those paintings, they will see the sketches underneath. They will see the temperature of the room that they painted it in, or the argument they had with their significant other, or they can see in the brushwork that they were using a brush that had a bunch of bristles that were falling off. They can see all of that. I can't see any of that. All I can see is I can take this final work and I can look at it and I can say, I resonate with this or I don't. And those are the two outcomes of that situation. And so for any art form, it's like that. And so as a songwriter, then you can be free of this thing of like, well, all I need to focus on is my skills and my ability, you know, to say what I want with a greater access to more colors on my palette and more techniques of painting, I suppose, is the metaphor there.
It's quite uncanny, really. The description you just gave is really so similar to what's happening with the friend artist I know whose name and person we don't even know.
We don't even know.
We don't know.
We don't know them.
We don't know them.
That's the thing. We couldn't even figure it out if we wanted to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know. But that's exactly the sort of journey they're on. You know, it's that opening, and it's really great and uncanny to see when other people are also going on that journey. Because for me, I always have this very weird. I think it's weird. I don't think it's that weird, but I sort of maybe phrase it that way, is that I'm in a room enjoying the music.
Yep.
I'm enjoying watching you play.
Yeah.
I'm getting into it.
Yeah.
And I have to snap out of it in an instant to get the shot.
Yep.
Not in a dispassionate way. I just have to snap out of it to get the shot.
Yeah.
And in sort of moving between those two things, you can kind of see almost all the things we've talked about.
Yeah.
Probably like he's said that word in a particular way, and he didn't say that in that chorus, and he, you know.
Yeah.
And one is kind of informing the other. So then when we sit down here and we do this, it's great to see that perspective come to light.
Yeah, it is good to.
But what's even better is seeing the ambition that you have driving you. I think you have found. I think you've found more of your voice than you realize. I don't think you're just in the suburb. I think you're well and truly within the even like the 5 streets of where it lives.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I can definitely see it.
Mm.
I can see a real flair that is in some ways very, very joyous, very somewhat understated, but also maybe jovial or joyous, whichever you want to use. But I think it's I think what you're doing and the way you do it is it's really comforting. Is another word I would use. Yes, it's fun. Yes, it gets everyone going. But I think there's a comfort in there to what you're presenting and performing, and I really can't wait to see more. So is there going to be more? Is there what is the trajectory?
There's a lot on the plate, I will say. There's a lot in the works. Got this album that we're trying to get out soon. Put out hopefully at the end of March. We're going to set up a show. I have another album that is something I want to really get right, and I want to get out to a lot of people. I was just on a call with Max from the band about how we're going to do all that. It's going to be very fun, and I would like to shoot high with that one and just rise to the occasion in terms of just getting it out and getting people to hear it, because I think there's some really good songs on it. That's all in the pipe. I want to play more. I want to open for more bands. Just like start playing more and sharing the music with more people. Like I like this idea of feeling like the audience. Some people might feel a bit cringe at the idea that when you start playing shows, the only people in the audience are your friends or your family. But I think it's just a better way to look at it is like I'd like to get to a point where like my relationship with my audience is like everyone's my friend. Like if I could play a huge room and everyone is my friend in that room, what an amazing experience that would be. So I love that idea of like the audience and the relationship between the audience and me.
It's a very underrated feeling. I had a friend come down from the Rat to watch us play. And he didn't know that one of the songs in the set that night was from a band that he really likes.
Oh yeah,
it was the Foo Fighters.
Oh yes.
And it just
which song?
The Pretender.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Completely just by chance that we were playing it for that. We had already chosen. We had already decided we're gonna play Pretender this key night. And then he was like, "I'm coming with this," and I was like, "Oh,
nice." Yeah. And
it is one of those moments where I got to play in front of him because I just jump off the stage and go mad. It's a very underrated feeling. I'd tell people it's a very underrated feeling. Like, of course, you want to share it with as many people as possible. But when you look out and it's all your friends, whether they've come from far or near or with their partners or whoever, it's like you look out and you go, this is what it's about.
And it's at least, if nothing else, it's a great aspirational thing to be like, it would be awesome if I could sell out the Northcote Social Club and everyone there is my friend. Even if I don't know them, everyone's my friend. and that's great. Literally what you were just saying, one of the songs in my set, I happen to know that a friend of mine who is named Liam Fung, and he emceed the show.
Very, very, very good man.
Great guy. Love him. He loves one of my songs called If It's Time, and I did it in the little 2 solo songs part of the show, and I dedicated that song to him because I know that he's a fan of that song, and that to me is like such an awesome feeling. And I'll bring it back right back to the first song I ever put out. There's a song called Stay. I put it out under a different name even before my last band, and it was a song I was proud of because it was the first song I'd ever released. And then I had a love-hate relationship with this song. I grew to hate it and got really jaded about it because I was embarrassed by how simple and how like lovey-dovey and very sugary it was. Because that was in a period where I was really just feeling a bit down about I wanted to be a serious artist. And then that was way before I had this epiphany of like, it is just self-expression, chill out. Anyways, so when I released this song back in the start of 2021, this random lady reached out to me on Instagram and said, "Hey, I stumbled across your song, Stay, and I love this song. And me and my mum listen to it every morning." And I'm like, to me, mind blowing, so touching.
Who's cutting onions?
Who's cutting onions? Oh, God. That to me is something I always think about and I always remember. And I always remind myself of like, this is a song that I grew to not like. And I grew to really disregard as simple and like whatever I felt at the time that it wasn't a real song or whatever. You know, all this kind of egotistical hoo-ha. But then again, there was this person that had a very personal connection to the song and it got to be a part of the soundtrack of their relationship with their mum. Oh my God, you could just, now I think about it, I'm like, that's beautiful. And I would love to chase that feeling with everything. And that's why you can never trust your own opinion on your work. Sometimes you just need to let it go and trust that this is my self-expression and that's all that matters. And that's what I think going forward, I reckon.
Clementine, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much. This is so good.
I have left this to the very end, but I just want to say that when obviously the first episode was with Jasmine,
yeah,
and you did message and you did reach out and you said, dude, this is what you're doing. So it was one of the first comments I got, and I really appreciated it because it was like it was just nice to know that there are people who appreciate it.
It was,
and I'm so glad that we got to meet at your gig.
Oh, it was great.
I'm so glad I came for your gig, and I'm very glad that you've come on this show. I can't wait to see more. Oh, it's a perfect circle. I can't wait to see more. It's going to be a big year for you. I'm rooting for you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
And now we're going to play some High Street.
Oh, yay! Trading country fields for $30 meals. My oh my, is this how it feels to be free? Miles and miles of nicotine lining the gutters like autumn leaves. Oh, I could just disappear on this street, lost in a corner with only my hopes and dreams. Just killing time. The neighbors upstairs are counting their dimes. Oh, I wanted independence, but I ended up alone. Can't turn the heat up in a cold and empty home. Just disappear on this street, lost in a corner with only my hopes and dreams.